25 minutes to 2 here on Afternoons on ABC Local Radio Queensland. And my next guest is a local filmmaker who goes by the name of Goff. And Goff has created a world first with his film company called Beer Nut Productions. He not only writes, produces, directs, edits and stars in his own film. And his first film was called I Will Not Go Quietly. But what makes this a world first is that Goff is the first legally blind person to do this. And that particular documentary that I mentioned there explored the issues of mental health and disability. And Goff has a new film out at the moment which is called The Advertising Meeting. And Goff, welcome to Afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, Rihanna.
Now, Goff, when did you start making your own films?
Well, I set up Beer Nuts Productions back in 2006, but long before then I was always interested, even at high school I did the film and television modules and all that sort of stuff, so it's always been a strong passion of mine, 100%, yeah.
And now that first documentary about I Will Not Go Quietly was about your own experiences and you putting yourself out there about what you had gone through.
Yes, yeah, well, it was sort of bred out of frustration more than anything else because I don't want to say I wasn't given a fair go because it makes me sound like I'm whinging, which is not the case at all. But I just felt like people weren't quite understanding what I can and can't do. And so I thought if I get a group of experts with a whole range of experiences, psychologists and even school teachers and things like that give their own opinions and whatnot. So I take them through my experience and hopefully it's not all doom and gloom, of course. I try and put some humour in there as well to make it a bit lighthearted, but it's just to hopefully give a bit more education out there for people with a disability and without as well.
So tell me about how you go about producing your films and and making them and also writing them.
Yep. Well, I've got a terrific script writing program that actually speaks to me. So as I'm typing up my scripts, it'll talk to me. So I know what. I wish it wouldn't because my spelling's atrocious. But so in that regard, in regards to writing, it's quite simple. It actually makes that work quite well. In regards to producing. I just go about it like anybody else. I send out the emails to the people I need to contact and I get all the people I need in to, like actors and whatnot, to help me out and audition them and just go through the whole process just like you regularly would, yeah.
Now, you are legally blind, but you do have some vision, but not much.
That's right. I can't see at all out of my right eye and have very limited vision in my left.
And when I've got the question about how you direct your actors, because you've used actors in your new movie, The Advertising Meeting.
That's correct.
How do you go about directing them?
Well, I wrote the script, so I know how I want it delivered. So as long as I sit down with them and the rehearsal process is a little bit frustrating probably for them because I make sure I'm very detailed in exactly what I want. So they know what sort of facial expressions I want from them and I just have to sort of trust that they're doing as I ask pretty much. So a lot of trust has to go into it, but I am really, really clear with my instructions. So like I say, I wrote it so I know exactly how I want it to look and sound and how I want it to be delivered. So I just need to hope that my actors are doing what they're supposed to.
Now, what is the story behind this latest film, The Advertising Meeting?
Well, I just thought I'd write as convoluted nonsense script as possible. So it's basically in a boardroom of an advertising agency. There's 6 of us all sitting around the table coming up with a campaign for Auntie Beryl's Burger Hut and all sort of personal secrets and all kinds of crazy things are going on in the background while we're trying to work out this campaign. So it's a bit outrageous. Like I like doing comedy kind of stuff. So I thought, hopefully it'll make people laugh a lot.
And how long did it take to shoot?
A day. So we got, I'm all about being organised, plus I have very little money, so I can't muck around. So it was all about getting in there and getting it shot and getting I make sure that I'm nice and simple with what I need, nothing too outrageous, no sort of angles from bungee cords or anything like that. So keep it all nice and simple and straightforward and hopefully, people go on to Beer Nuts Productions and enjoy what I do.
You started in comedy. I mean, what was it about comedy that you wanted to try?
There's no better feeling than entertaining people and making people laugh and smile and forget about their problems. I'm sure you would say the same thing, Rihanna. 'Cause you like people listening to you, and they're forgetting about their problems or whatever it is that is going on in their personal life, and they're getting some lovely entertainment and enjoying themselves, whereas they might not have been 5 minutes ago. I think it's a really marvelous feeling to be able to make somebody happy. It's a really great thing to entertain people.
And you used to tour quite a lot doing comedy. I mean, when did you realise that it wasn't really, you couldn't keep doing it?
Well, my bank account told me that I couldn't keep doing it because the travel expenses, because I mean, obviously I can't drive because I can't see, so there's a lot of relying on other people for lifts and taxis and buses and public transport and whatnot, and I mean, it gets to the point where, I was out of pocket quite a lot, so that was the main motivation. But also I wanted to start up Beer Nuts Productions, and I wanted to, because I'd written a ton of scripts and I wanted to get busy making them.
You're on Afternoons with me, Rihanna Patrick, on ABC Local Radio Queensland, and I'm talking to Goff, who is from Beer Nut Productions, and he's the first legally blind person to write, produce, edit, direct, and also star in his own films. And his latest film is called The Advertising Meeting. Now, Goff, when it comes to anyone else, have you heard of anyone else who is blind, who is going down the same path as you of looking at doing film and moving into that industry, or giving it a go?
I haven't actually. No, I haven't. I usually get a lot of strange looks and a lot of odd people saying, "Are you insane?" I mean, it's not really the kind of industry that a blind person would, I suppose, naturally choose. But it's something that I've always enjoyed doing, and like I say, I love entertaining, and it's something I've been doing ever since I was a young fella. I've always been interested in this kind of stuff. So why not?
Goff, with the editing of it as well, do you rely on your hearing a lot of the time? I mean, you mentioned directing before and making sure that your actors were doing what it was that you wanted. But is that the same with editing as well?
Well, with editing, it's probably a bit easier than what you might imagine because, yeah, you're right, it's all through sound. So for the documentary, for example, I didn't, because I can't really see the screen on my computer very well, I just edited it like a 90-minute radio play. So because also being a documentary, it's just voice grabs, it makes it a lot easier with that kind of thing. So it's just editing it by sound.
And you had a career in radio as well back in the day. And
That's
you
right.
used to write for a lot of commercial radio stations.
Yeah, I used to write for a few of the commercial radio stations, and also as an audio engineer, so doing up their promos and I was... People, their promos and commercials and all that sort of stuff, people were pretty impressed with my speed because, I mean, because I didn't have to worry about anything else, I'm just doing it all by ear. I just whipped through and would edit up the commercials pretty quick. That's fairly simple sort of stuff for me, so...
Well, Goff, if we want to check out your latest film, where should we go to?
BeerNutsProductions.com. So that's if you go to BeerNutsProductions.com, there's tons of stuff up there. There's the films. I've got some books that I've written that are up there and some audio downloads that will hopefully make people laugh. And there's a couple of films as well up there too. So there's tons at BeerNutsProductions.com for everybody to enjoy.
Goff, thank you for coming into Afternoons.
No, thank you, Rihanna.
That was Goff from Beer Nut Productions, who's the first legally blind person to write, produce, edit, and direct and star in his own film. And his new movie is called The Advertising Meeting, which you can find at beernutproductions, all one word, .com. You're on Afternoons on ABC Local Radio Queensland.